Hey everyone, welcome back to our series on 8A certification, how the SBA is required to help you get 8A contracts. I'm Michelle Brown, Federal Certifications and Contracting Programs with FedBiz Exchange and FedBiz Now. In this video, I will tell you how the SBA is required to help you get contracts in the 8A certification program. So what should you know about your BOS, your Business Opportunity Specialist, the person responsible for your success in the 8A program? Your BOS could have literally hundreds of 8A firms to work with in addition to you. Now, I know that doesn't sound good, but that's the reality of it. They could also only have 20. They could have maybe 50. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, you know that this person is only one person and they're going to do only so much because they only have the capabilities to do only so much. And once you get in there, you'll see how things work. But the point is that it's not going to be all about you. You have to make it all about you. You cannot worry about if this person is going to have enough time for you. That is why I'm doing this, so that I can help you to understand and prepare. When you get in, you don't have time to mess around. So this person is going to be responsible for the success of maybe 100 other firms. Some may be similar to yours, some that are nothing like yours. So this person has to be familiar with all different types of industries. It's just a lot to ask of one person. Do they have a team of people to help them? Not really. Are they going to be asked to do things that they can't do? Absolutely. That they don't know how to do, that they don't have the support to do. So not to scare you, but to motivate you into understanding. Again, like I said in previous videos, learn what to use people for. This person is responsible for you, but you may just need to use them to get your business plan done. You need them to know that you're going to do what it takes, but you also need to know when to get on them, when to ask for their help. You don't want to use them up for things that you don't need them for. Okay? So, your BOS can be new, they can be inexperienced, they could be very professional, they could know federal contracting, or they could come in totally from the street and know nothing. Absolutely nothing. But you will need to assess that person as soon as you get into the program, and you'll be able to tell. As an entrepreneur and a business person, you'll know what to look for. And if you don't know what to look for, just spend a little time with the person. See if they're assertive. Take notice as to whether or not you think they're going to be on your team. But even if they're on your team, look at them as a team player, but don't use them up for things that are not necessary to involve them in, because they will get worn out. That's how people are. Use them when you need them, when they need to do something for you, like help you get contracts, which is what they're there for. Your BOS may be focused on ensuring that you're just in compliance because that's all they know how to do. When I say compliance, I'm talking about all of your paperwork, making sure that everything's up to date. That may be the only thing they ever talk to you about versus getting you contracts. Do what they ask you to do, but don't spend a lot of time with them about stuff like that. You want to have conversations with them only about how am I supposed to get contracts. You're going to do things on your own to get contracts, but you want all the wheels turning at once. So that's what they're there for. Make sure they're focused on helping you get contracts, period. Your BOS has the authority by regulation to help you get contracts. That's what they're there for. It's a business development program. And they will say things to you like, that's not what we do. And that's when you need to write to me, or you need to look it up in the FAR and get the 8A regulations. And it specifically says, this is what your district office, including your BOS, they're responsible for you. This is what they're supposed to do. And I'm going to talk about that in the next couple of slides. Your BOS will often follow the direction of the district director, which is not always in the best interest of what you want. These district directors can be something else. A lot of times they want to manage who's getting what when they should be trying to help everybody get contracts. Sometimes it's about who they like, and I hate to say that, but it's just the truth. I will always tell you the truth. And how do I know this? Because I interview and talk to a lot of 8A people. I have so many 8A people that come into my class and say, oh my God, I had no idea. And then the next thing I know, they're getting contracts. But they're already in their second year, their third year, their fifth year. You don't want that to happen to you. You can make this happen. You can make this happen. Don't depend on other people. If you have to manage your district office and manage your BOS, then do it. Be professional, be considerate, but do it. And when I say considerate, don't worry about everybody else because ain't nobody worried about you. I mean, be considerate in the way that you talk with them, but be assertive and let them know you're not playing with them. You want them to help you get what you need to get. And most importantly, you need to ask for what you want and what you need. Otherwise, you will get left behind. Make sure your presence is known. You don't always need them for everything, but when you need something, ask for it. When you learn something that they're supposed to be doing, ask for it. Get contracts when you first get in. Your district office, their responsibility to you. What does that mean? So it means they're responsible for helping you win contracts. I always say I wish that the SBA 8A program was based on people keeping their jobs based on how much or how many contracts or the dollar amount that is awarded to small businesses, and especially in the 8A program. If these district directors that are part of this 8A program and these directors and supervisors and BOSs and DOs, if they were measured on how successful their 8A firms were in their portfolio, because they could have 200 businesses or 700 businesses in their portfolio, but they would never have that many in one agency. They break them down. Like Florida has a couple of district offices because they can't have that many. California has a few district offices because they can't have that many. But if they would base and judge the SBA 8A people on their performance via how well their firms are doing, that every one of their firms in their portfolio is getting contracts, those SBA people would probably get bonuses all over the place. But because they're not measured by how well things are going with the 8A firms, they just collect a paycheck and they do whatever they want to do. You, on the other hand, have to build everything from nothing. They don't. They go to work every day. And I'm not bashing them for going to work every day. I'm saying if you got that job, because they don't make pennies either. A lot of them do extremely well. They have a pension. They get all kinds of benefits. So why are they not doing a better job? Because they don't have to. They get a paycheck. So it's the job of the district office and the BOS to work with federal agencies to inform them of your capabilities, your ability to perform. They are supposed to be selling you to these agencies and saying, hey, I notice you have this contract coming up. I want it. I want it for this firm, or I want to have you look at 3 firms in my portfolio to see if you can choose one of them. That's their job. That's why they're there. Promoting your firms to various agencies that need your capabilities, not just 1 or 2. I'm talking hundreds. They have hundreds to choose from. Even if they just choose 10. Whether you realize it or not, there are contractual agreements between the SBA 8A program and agencies that say, we expect you, meaning the SBA expects agencies to, when they get contracts, to consider 8A firms. And if they're not doing it on their own, then the SBA people are supposed to be calling them up, sending them emails, sending them letters saying, I know you have this coming up. I saw it in your forecast. I'd like this for my people. They won't do it all the time, and they don't have to do it all the time. All you need is one or two. That's it. You can do the rest on your own. So promoting your firm is what they're supposed to be doing. And if they're not doing that, which a lot of times they're not doing a good job. And you should not be kissing up to them if they're not doing a good job. Ignore them and keep doing what you're doing. If they're not helping you, don't spend time with them. I am very serious about that. Don't let people waste your time. If they're not helping you, if they're not promoting you, and you could show them. If you ever wanted to write me or ask me because you're having trouble with your BOS, ask me. I'll give you the regulations. I'll show you exactly where it is. I've done it before. I do it all the time. I talk to BOSs about it and their bosses. I've had to literally get on conference calls with district directors, 2 of them at a time, and a BOS, and tell them off because they are not helping an 8A firm that is having to pay us to help them. But I still want the 8A firm to get what they deserve. What are those people there for? So just because we're helping them and just because they're paying us doesn't mean you're off the hook. You still are required to find opportunities for our client. Why aren't you doing that? So you have to speak up for yourself. Your district office and your BOS are supposed to be introducing you to agencies. Remember I said there was one other firm, there were 2 firms or 2 types of situations I was talking about earlier. There was one situation where in all of my 14 years, a BOS literally that I know of, and I talked to a lot of 8A companies, literally within the 5th year, maybe I mentioned this already, took this person around. That almost brought tears to my eyes to hear that in a classroom full of people, that they got a BOS that took them around to other agencies and said to them, this is Mary Smith. I'm using a different name. This is Mary Smith. I want you to know what she does. She does A, B, and C. I want you to remember her because I'm going to be asking you to consider her for some contracts that I know you already have. I have never heard of a BOS doing that. And I asked her, right in the classroom of 40 people, what type of person was he? Where did he come from? Did he have experience in the contracting arena? She said, no, he was an entrepreneur. He used to own his own business. And I said, that's what I'm talking about. And that's another thing. If I could ask any president to do one thing, I would ask them to put only entrepreneurial people or people with entrepreneur experience in the SBA. This is why the SBA doesn't do so well, and this is why people don't have patience with them and feel like they're lost when they're trying to work with the SBA, is because you have a bunch of people that have never been entrepreneurs. I'm not saying all of them, but 90% of them probably have never. They have no clue what it means or what it feels like to build something from nothing. So you have these people that don't get it trying to tell you, just wait a minute, I'm going to help you in a minute. They don't understand. Entrepreneurs don't wait a minute. Entrepreneurs go get it. Entrepreneurs are, have this burning energy in their stomach where they need to make things happen or they can't wait for things to happen. We want it like yesterday. So you're dealing with people that just don't even understand what it feels like to have to, create money from nothing. But one thing you can do is you can let them know that you know what they're supposed to be doing. And when you know what they're supposed to be doing, next thing you know, all of a sudden, a contracting officer is asking you for pricing out of nowhere. It didn't come from nowhere. It came because you made a lot of noise and you said to them, how come you're not helping me? But you cannot be nice and quiet about it. You can be professional about it, but you cannot be nice and quiet. You have no idea how many times I've had minority business owners to tell me I had to lay my BOS out. I had to tell him or her, if you don't do A, B, and C to help me, I will be your worst nightmare. I am not going to shut up until I see you doing something to help me. And what do they want to do? They want to do something to get rid of you. All they have to do is a couple of things. That's all. But they act like they're scared of these contracting officers. These contracting officers are not scary people. They want people to help them purchase what they need to buy. You're doing something for them. You're doing something for the government. If you have screws and they need 50,000 screws, you know how to make 50,000 screws, and you can give it to them or sell it to them at a better price. This is what it's all about. But you have a bunch of scary people working together. Nobody wants to step on anybody's toes. You don't have time for that. You step on all the toes you need to step on to get your millions. That's what you have to do. Ensuring that you're receiving contracts as a participant. I've been preaching to the choir about this, but that's their job. They need to get you started. All they have to do is get you started. They're also supposed to send letters. I call them search letters. That's what the regulation says. They're called search letters. If your BOS is not sending out search letters to help you find opportunities, search letters are letters to agencies that are likely to match up with your capabilities, and they basically just say, do you have any opportunities right now, any sources sought, anything that's coming up that would match the capabilities of this firm. And I even heard, I've had people in my class to say, I asked my DO, my district office, my director about this, and my BOS, and they said, if I do it for you, I have to do it for everybody. If your district office says that, you know what you say to them? If your director says that to you, then please do it for everybody, because I need you to do it for me. Isn't that what you're supposed to do? That's how you talk to them. You have to be straight with them. You cannot tiptoe around this situation. Otherwise, you will get nowhere. We have 8A companies coming out and they only made $3 million or they only made $5 million. I know that sounds like a lot to some of you, but if your NAICS code, your NAICS code as most of you call it, says that you can make up to $27.9 million and you're in the 8A program, by goodness, you should be making, or by the time you graduate, you should have made $27.9 million or more. You should be trying to get kicked out of the 8A program. That's a nice problem to have. So sending out search letters, it is an official term, search letters. You need to ask them about it. Well, when do you send out the search letters? I don't care if you have to write the search letter. Write a search letter and look it up, or look up a search letter to see what it looks like and write one and give it to every time you find an opportunity, or if there's an agency you want to work with, tell them, I want you to send this to this agency. You don't send it to the agency. They need to send it to the agency. It's different coming from them because there is a rule. There's a regulation that says every agency has an agreement to work with the 8A program. Every agency has it. There may be a few that don't, but most of the agencies has it. So I'm not making this up. This is in the regulation. And when you use the term search letter, you'll see the expression on their faces because they don't want to do this stuff. So if they've never done it for you before, you need to ask for it. Identifying opportunities that match your firm's capabilities. That's called a requirement letter. So let's say you find some opportunities because you go through one of my classes and I teach you how to find out the opportunities. A lot of you have already been through my classes and I teach you how to find specific opportunities, ones that you never dreamed of, ones that you never knew were out there. I teach you how to do that. And then you go to your BOS and say, hey, I know for a fact that the Department of Energy has 5 opportunities coming up. And they actually said that they're going to allow them to be 8A. Or can you ask them to set them aside for 8A? Your BOS and your district director, they should be helping you with that. They could literally write a letter or pull out a template requirement letter and say, we'd like to request this for this firm. We have or we have 2 firms that we'd like you to consider for this opportunity. They are not doing that on a regular basis because they know you guys don't know they're supposed to be doing it. So if you're just getting into the program or you're waiting to be approved, you need to make sure that even if you don't attend one of my classes, you need to make sure that you know and understand, even if you have to write me to ask me, that you know and understand what you can expect and what you're entitled to. This is the law. You are entitled to receive help. It's your right. This is taxpayer money, meaning these people are being paid through taxpayer money. They have a government job. It's their job. So you shouldn't have to go and tell people their jobs, but sometimes you do. You need to take care of your own company. Sending your capability statement to agencies that have contracts for your firm. They're the ones that are supposed to be marketing for you. You are too, but they should be doing it as well. They don't do it. I know they don't do it. I'm not saying all of them don't do it, but I know they don't do it. So can you do that? You both should be doing it because you are responsible for your own. And even if you are still getting 8A contracts, you still need to ask those people, okay, so what if they never do any of these things? Well, then you know you're on your own. You're on your own anyway. And I already told you. So you could also report them, but I don't want to go into that. That's a different story because you're not trying to create enemies, but and it's not a pleasant situation. There are 2 types of 8A companies. There's the 8A company that is constantly on 2 types of successful 8A companies, I should say. The type of 8A company that is constantly having to badger their BOS for help and the district office for help. And then there's the 8A company that says, screw those people, I don't really care. I have my certification, I'm getting ready to go get my $27.9 million. You have it like that. You really do. So unfortunately, that's the way it is. And that's why I'm telling you, because I champion small businesses to collectively go out here and get this $92 billion that is set aside for us. We're not bidding enough. We're not being assertive enough. This is why the small businesses that are successful, this is why, because they get in there and they go get it. All they need is a little peek with the certification. They learn how to use the certification and then they go get it. And the next thing you know, they're at 27.9 million. And they're still considered a small business at 27.9 million because they don't want to be a big business. If you are under $36.5 million as a small business, you are still considered a small business and a very successful company. And a manufacturer's numbers are even bigger. And so what does that mean if you're still considered a small business? Well, you can still bid on total set-asides, which still allows you to compete. So after you graduate from your 8A, you could still be considered a small business at $27 million or $30 million or $35.6 million. And all you have to do is stay in the small business arena, still remain a very successful company, and you will still be getting set-asides. That's an amazing thing when you know how to use this process to build and create jobs and build what you always dreamed of building. And number 8, your district office and your BOS can make or break your start as a firm. You need to understand that. That is very key. If you understand that, then you will see that no one can stop you from getting what you're entitled to. What's yours, what's for you is for you. I don't know if you've ever heard that term, but my grandmother used to say that. What's for you is for you. And sometimes it's waiting for you, but if you don't go and get it and you're letting other people stop you or you're waiting on other people to help you, you're not going to get what you deserve. or what you plan for yourself to have. All I'm saying is use these people, be decent to them, understand what their roles are, but don't expect them to do things that they're not capable of doing. That's not a battle you want to fight. Understand where you are when you go in. You are your own champion. Thank you for joining me today. If you want to learn more about 8A certification, watch the next video. Please leave me your comments, subscribe, and let me know your questions.